In front of me is a OPPO A91, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a brief overview of the device. So getting started, this is the box that it comes in, obviously. So just quickly open it up. There we go. Gonna set the box on the side. There's nothing really in the top part. Then in here, paperwork, obviously. Apart from the paperwork, it actually comes with a case, so that's thumbs up, I would say. I'm gonna set it onto the side and come back to it later. And you got the SIM eject tool and paperwork that no one really cares about, so let's get that out of the way. Then we got the phone itself. Let's pop it out of here. Now the phone is already set up, so it won't be necessarily a true unboxing really, but still overview should be there. So in here we got the Type A, Type C cable, charger. It looks exactly the same as the ones for OnePlus. Along with the cable, you also have the markings now. Instead of being reddish, they're green on the cable and on the charger. And the charger is, I believe, 20 watts. I can quickly check it just to be sure. Yep, so it looks like it's 20 watts. If you can maybe see it from here, it's basically right here, second line from the bottom. And what else is in here? That's nothing. And then the Type C headphones. Nope, just a normal headphones apparently. So yep, the phone actually does have a headphone jack, which is surprising in this day and age. So let's just drop all that in here, get this out of the way, and bring the phone into the view. And there we go. So as you can see, it's already set up, but the specs of the device, it's a 6.4-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400. That puts it at 85.5 screen to body ratio percent and 408 pixels per inch. So that's just the display alone. Then the cameras, although the camera lens is 48 megapixels, it doesn't really do anything special with it. It's only a 1080p recording, so you're stuck at 1080 with 30 frames, so you don't get anything really special here, I would say. And then the device comes with a 8GB RAM and a MediaTek 6771 and 4025 milliamps battery. And when it comes down to the storage, it has 128 gigs built in, along with a extendable storage via the SD card. And all that storage is supported also by the UFS storage, so it's going to be faster than the typical, like the, for instance, last gen phones, I would say, with just the, what was it, like flash storage or whatever. It was fairly slow. And going back to the cameras itself, apart from the main sensor that is 48 megapixels of nothing exciting, you also have an 8 megapixels of disappointing ultra wide and 2 megapixels black and white, which just basically captures black and white colors. That helps it gain a little bit more detail for the normal photos. And then you also have a 2 megapixel depth camera, which is, I would say, more like a sensor in this case. And like I said before, it captures at 1080p 30 frames, so you're not getting anything outstanding here. And the front itself has a 16 megapixel camera, wide sensor that also captures, you've guessed it, 1080p 30 frames, so as well as the back one. Now the difference between the back and the front, apart from the position of it, is the fact that the back one has a PDAF, so that's face detection autofocus, while the front one I don't think has any kind of good autofocus. And apart from that, you also well, like I said, have 20 watt charging, and that puts it at 50% in 30 minutes, based on what the manufacturer claims. And it supports the VOOC 3.0 charging, so that's the OPPO's fast charging way. They have their like own naming for it. And the phone itself costs roughly around 260 euros, so it's also not the cheapest one, I would say. Nothing really expensive like other flagships, but I don't think this is really a flagship. And the phone itself works fairly, I would say, well. Doesn't have any like super nice bells and whistles, no high refresh rate, although it does have an AMOLED display, which is a thumbs up. So with the AMOLED display you get these super deep blacks, where basically the pixels are turned off, and in my opinion a really good color reproduction comparing to like the normal displays. And what else is there to say? Probably that's it. It comes with an Android 9, and I believe it is upgradable to Android 10. I can quickly check it. So we can go into System and About Phone. And right now we're on Android 9. Where's the update? Software update there. Apparently I have no network connection. Let's fix that in this case. Now, as you can see, it comes with their I think Color OS or whatever they're calling the skin over this device. Personally, I'm not the greatest fan of this this Android skinning. I don't like the gigantic tiles and just how it basically everything gets black the moment you pull it down. So it leaves a little bit to be desired in my opinion. And yes, it's more of a also personal preference, but as you can see right now, it looks like there is no Android 10 update. So this is already the latest version, and it's Android 9 with the Color OS 6.1. So that is as far as it goes, at least at this moment. Now I'm gonna go over kind of like around the device. So at the front you have this teardrop notch, or however you call them. As you can see, not much there, fairly minimal honestly. Some people still get bothered by them. I personally don't really care. It's not obtrusive, it's fairly small honestly. Then on this side, on the right side, you got the power key, and that's it. On the left side you get the tray, so that's the SIM tray along with the SD tray, volume rockers, and that's it. Then on the bottom, I can get a light, there we go. On the bottom you have the headphone jack, which is quite a rare thing to see nowadays. A Type-C charger, speaker grills, microphone right here, the tiny little thing between the charging and the headphone, and that's it. And on the top there is another microphone for the loudspeaker, and then the speaker grill itself, or when you're talking normally on a phone, it's fairly minimal, barely visible right here. Not really sure if it's picking up on the camera. Hopefully you can see it, but it's barely visible. You can only see it when you're looking for it. And on the back you have this clean blue design. I believe this is the only color the device comes with, this blue color. And you can see you have a fairly hefty camera bump. It does affect how the phone lays, so if I would put it down, you will see that it does wobble like crazy. So you can see that it is not the most minimal bump out there. And you can also put the case in and see if that will help a little bit. So if I slap it on here, you can see that this is the case. It fits fairly well, although I do have to say it feels a little bit cheaper because I'm not really sure if you can see that on here, but the edges on here are just coming out, so there is about a centimeter of a bezel on these that kind of go up from the screen. And I guess you can just drop the phone on the screen and it won't get scratched because nothing can get really under there. But if you're trying to have like a, I don't know, nice seamless look on it with this case, well, you won't really get it here. But other than that, the case seems to fit fairly well, and I still believe, yep, there's a tiny bit of wobble left, so you don't get rid of it fully, but as ages better than it was at the without the case. So that's how it looks like, and yeah. Now, probably the last thing that I'll say, is it worth buying? I guess it really depends on the budget and if you're bothered by certain things. If you're not planning to use the camera that much, then it's okay. And if you're also not bothered by the color OS, which I'm not a fan of, and I would personally probably stay away from this device solely because of the color OS. But like I said, if you're not bothered by it at all, then that kind of removes the two biggest gripes that I have with this device. Apart from that, it works fairly well. Didn't have much problem with it, using it over a couple of days right now. But also, I didn't really have much hands-on with the device, honestly. But from what I've been using it, it works okay. Nothing mind-blowing. You're not getting a flagship here for 260 euros, so don't expect to be popping out some amazing photos with this and having some, I don't know, super powerful phone here that will put your laptop to rest or something like that. It's just a normal standalone standard phone with a mediocre specs, honestly. And if you're looking for, I guess, a semi-cheap phone that is still well, decent in some way, then I would say this is a good choice. But yeah, so this would conclude the unboxing along with the overview of this phone. And if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.